Hey there everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports, and welcome to part 3 of my 2016 holiday marathon. Now, there have been many classic Christmas songs that have been made all over the world. For example, in England, they made songs like What Child Is This and The First Noel. Go Tell It on the Mountain came from the US. The French made songs like Angels We Have Heard on High and Sing We Now of Christmas. Poland made Infant Holy, Infant Lowly. And the song we'll be looking at today, Silent Night, was made in Germany. The song was first performed on Christmas Eve 1818 at St. Nicola Parish Church in an Austrian village called Oberndorf. A young priest named Father Joseph had come to Oberndorf the year prior. He had already written the lyrics of the song Stille Nacht in 1816 in a town called Maria Pfarr. The melody was composed by schoolmaster and organist Franz Gruber in the nearby village of Arnsdorf. Before Christmas Eve, Joseph brought the words to Gruber and asked him to compose a melody and guitar accompaniment for the church service. A while ago, I have heard that there have been a few films that told the history of this classic Christmas song. However, today I'll be looking at one that I've known from my childhood and see if it still holds up today. So, released a home video on October 13th, 1998, the movie is Buster and Chauncey's Silent Night. Now let's get started. Buster and Chauncey, the world's greatest musicians, have arrived in Oberndorf for their shot at the big time, performing for the Queen at the annual Christmas pageant. But on Christmas Eve, Burgermeister Huffenmeyer finds all the preparation for the festivities destroyed and the treasure of Oberndorf missing. When he accuses Buster and Chauncey's friend Christina, an orphan in search of her long-lost family, it seems certain that Christmas will be ruined. Now it's up to the maestros of mistletoe to help Christina reveal the real culprits, return the treasure, and show the town of Oberndorf the true meaning of Christmas, not with a big pageant, but with a little song and a lot of love. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, I have heard from some folks that this film got negative reviews, but you know how critics are. They can be either killjoys or have no childhood. But anyway, I really liked this film as a kid. When my parents bought this on home video when I was little, my sister and I watched this tons of times during the holidays. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just move on to Mustang notes. Now, Silent Night was the first in-house animated production for Columbia TriStar Home Video, and was produced by Buzz Potemkin through his own company, Project X Productions. Shortly after this film was released, plans for a sequel were discussed, but sadly, it never materialized. Now, in my opinion, the animation is a tad hit and miss. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad. It just looks a tad dated. Plus, some of the characters look a bit cartoony in my opinion. And while the animators did do well with drawing out Oberndorf, the problem is we don't see too much of it. Mostly all we see of the town is the St. Nicola Church. But despite that, the church looks very beautiful. Also, the mouse tunnels look good too. However, what's interesting to me is that the church's golden treasure represents the 3 wise men's gifts that were given to the baby Jesus. I also like how this film explains that the true meaning of Christmas is being there for your friends, helping others, and sharing. Now, the songs in this movie were written by Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty. Of course, who hasn't heard of these guys? They're practically responsible for the songs for Don Bluth's Anastasia and the classic Dr. Seuss stage show, Seussical. I also heard that Lynn Ahrens had some involvement with ABC's Schoolhouse Rock and teamed up with Alan Menken to make their own Christmas Carol stage musical, which of course became distributed by Hallmark into a TV-made movie in 2004. As for the songs for this movie, well, in my opinion, they're simply magnificent, so I can't complain about them at all. The first song is Christmas in Oberndorf, sung by the Oberndorf townspeople as they're decorating the town and getting ready for the Queen's arrival. Plus, Buster and Chauncey, even Christina have a part in this song. As for the title song, Silent Night, well, in my opinion, it's absolutely beautiful. Father Joseph sings most of the song, but at the final verse, Christina and everyone in the church join in. That part always makes me feel warm inside. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, animation, and songs, let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought them to life. Our first main character, Buster, is voiced by veteran voice actor Jim Cummings. In my opinion, while Buster is focused on performing for the Queen, he can be a tad selfish and bossy at times. But on the other hand, he's a good friend, but at the same time, he's funny at times, especially when he sneezes throughout the movie. And he's also a great accordion player. Our second main protagonist, Chauncey, is voiced by the late Phil Hartman, whom I remember from The Brave Little Toaster and Kiki's Delivery Service. Chauncey is my favorite out of the two mice, because he's a nice mouse. Plus, he got Buster a scarf for Christmas, and he knows that Christmas is about helping others. What's more, his new song just happens to be the music to Silent Night. Next we have Christina, a young orphan voiced by Leia Michele. And yes, this was before she was on Glee, and before she voiced Dorothy Gale in Legends of Oz: Dorothy's Return. Anyway, Christina is an orphan because her parents got ill and died, so now she has to go to Vienna to live with her aunt and uncle. I love Christina because she's such a sweet and innocent child, and she's really nice to Chauncey and Buster. She even tries to protect them from a cat named Dolph. I especially love Christina's song called Things That I've Collected. To me, it's a very touching song. Also, Leia Michele has a beautiful singing voice, even when she was very young. Next we come to Fritz, a blue jay voiced by Tom Arnold. In my opinion, while Fritz isn't in too much of the movie, he does make a decent supporting character for Buster and Chauncey. And he's pretty funny at times, especially when he says that Dolph might have Chris Mouse dinner. That joke never gets old. Father Joseph is voiced by Townsend Coleman, whom I know as Riot from Jem and the Holograms. I like this guy. Not only is he a great preacher, but he also makes a great father figure for Christina. Heck, he and his friend Franz Gruber managed to cast Christina as an angel for the pageant. What's more, he managed to write a poem of Silent Night, but while Buster is playing the music with his accordion, he has Franz set the poem to music in order to save Christmas. Next we have Oberndorf's mayor, Burgermeister Wilhelm Hofenmeier, voiced by the late Harry Goss. Now, in my opinion, Hofenmeier isn't really my favorite character in this movie. While he's determined to impress the Queen with the Christmas pageant, he's pretty stupid. And by stupid, I mean he's stupid enough to believe that Christina is a thief for stealing from the church and causing a huge mess. We also have Hofenmeier's cat, Dolph, who is assigned to keep mice out of Oberndorf. To me, he's pretty similar to Lucifer from Cinderella. Dolph manages to get most of the other mice out of town, but throughout this movie, he chases Buster and Chauncey 3 times. Once, when they're about to go into town. The second time is when, after Chauncey accidentally wakes him up by pulling at his whiskers, which starts a chase that breaks the pipe organ, causes a huge mess to the church, even getting little Christina into trouble. And the third time is when Buster has Dolph chase him in order to stop the villain's horse-drawn wagon from getting out of town. Next we have our villains, the Duke of Rausch and his niece Lady Gretchen, voiced by Paul Kendall and Judith Blazer. When these two arrive in Oberndorf, they say that they're checking over the preparations for the pageant, but in reality, they're actually thieves who are planning to steal the church's golden treasure. They even believe that Christmas is a holiday for thieves, as said in their villain song. To me, that song is very twisted, with tango music and shadows on the walls. Not only do they try to steal the church's treasure, but they also steal from the church's poor box and Hofenmeier's key. They even frame Christina and later kidnap her. Last but not least, we have Queen Teresa, voiced by American singer, actress, and doll designer Marie Osmond. The thing I can say about Her Royal Majesty is that she doesn't appear until the end of the movie. However, I do think she's a really nice character. Plus, she offers to take Christina to Vienna to find her family. Marie Osmond also sings a reprise of Silent Night during the end credits, and to me, it's absolutely beautiful. Now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Buster and Chauncey's Silent Night isn't that bad of a movie. I mean, yeah, it does have a few flaws, like the animation looking a tad dated, and a few characters from Buster and Hofenmeier aren't that great, but it makes up for it with good characters from Chauncey, Christina, and Father Joseph. The story does a pretty good job with explaining the true meaning of Christmas and telling how the classic Christmas song was born with a slight twist. And while Silent Night is still a classic song, the other songs in this movie, like Christmas in Oberndorf, Things That I've Collected, and Holiday for Thieves, are wonderful as well. This film may not be as good as most Christmas films I've seen, but it still deserves a watch at least once during the holidays. So, my rating for this film will be a 75% out of 100. Well, that's all for today, everybody. Be sure to join me again next week for my final Christmas blog, as I take a week-long break to go on vacation to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Mustang Power.
Now I'll collect that moon, and I'll collect that star. I'll put them in my pocket, and we'll travel near and far. And on the darkest road, they'll shine so very clear. These things that I've collected to remind me I was here. shadows feel so soft, and people seem so